Good morning, everybody. It is 6:30 at the time of recording this. I got up um, surprisingly early this morning. Don't know why. But either way, we're going to do our weekly recap, where we weighed in at for the day. And for the week, I guess, really is what we're looking at. This week pretty much was a maintenance week. I didn't really hit anything. I think the big lesson here for me is just not to penalize myself mentally. Like I didn't drop weight, like we just maintained, which is fine. It's been this is the 10th week if I'm not mistaken. I somewhere around there. I mean, we're decently in, and I think it's probably not a bad time to take a short, take that week, take this entire week and just I ate at maintenance, sometimes over, sometimes under, pretty much stayed around maintenance calories, which is perfectly fine. I just have to not penalize myself for not losing weight. So I think that's a big thing I'm going to try to take away from this week, because I think that's a bad habit that I have picked up in the past, is that I will take like this, oh, I had one bad day, or I had this and that, and like I'll punish myself for doing that, and it's not good to do. If you do that as well, like it's not a good thing necessarily to punish yourself. There's having goals and having standards and having expectations of yourself, but then it's also how do you respond to that? Because if you go down like a negative loop of punishing yourself, especially if it is giving up or whatever the case is, that's not good, right? So my goal is to take away from it and look at it and say, okay, we did a week. That's fine. We're 1 week behind where we maybe should have been and where we're tracking on our board there. That's okay. That board is just an idea. This birthday cut is an idea to try to just get lean and cut down to about my birthday. But if it goes beyond that, if it goes into May, if it goes into the beginning of June, that's not the end of the world, right? The end goal is simply to be cut and doing it at a good pace. If it takes longer, that's okay, right? That is perfectly okay. So I'm going to be looking at it with that lens that, yes, I have this goal here, right? The overall goal is, again, to be healthier, to cut down weight. Now, I got my blood work done. I have perfectly fine, perfectly good blood work. That's cool and all, but I want to feel generally better about myself and the way I look in the mirror. I'm sure I don't look terrible to most people, but I don't like it personally, and this could be a self-image issue, but we're going to be working on that. So that is part of the goal, is we're going to slim down, right? If you are setting a weight loss goal for yourself, you should also be looking at it in a similar light. Take the overarching goal that you are losing weight as the primary. It is not going to be a straight line down. Even if I look at mine, it's a up and down, up and down, up and down. But you want to look at the trend. Like you might be going up and down, but instead of going up like that, you're going to go up and down, and you're slowly going to just decrease down. Your average is going to drop. Right? That is what I'm going for. That is what you should be going for as well, if that's your goal. If you're trying to gain weight, same thing, up and down. Just a progression. Life's not perfect. It's almost impossible for most people to have such a strict diet that they eat the exact same thing in the exact same portions at the exact same time and the same water intake, etc., every single day. There's fluctuations, right? So that's the big thing. I've kind of rambled. So we've done a maintenance week. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to try to relax and just take this as a recoup. As you can see, we're in a new room. So I've moved. I need to get some more stuff, but I don't know. I want to add stuff here to reduce the echo, to make the sound quality better. But in the same light, I am also a lot heavier and practiced on the minimalism side of things. So I don't want to add a bunch of unnecessary things. One item that I think I could actually benefit from and that I will end up filling up and needing is a bookshelf. I've filled up the one I have, and now I have books that are not able to fit. So a bookshelf could help dampen some of the echo, and I could get a good use out of it. If I'm going to add stuff in here, I'm going to try to do it tastefully, or at least in the way that is not of excess My big goal, I'm trying to declutter. I'm getting rid of stuff. I got rid of 2 keyboards, some cables this week. I sold a bunch of other stuff the week prior. We're decluttering our life, right? So I'm moved. I'm decluttering. I'm cleaning. I have had new sleeping situation, new office location. Things are different. The week has just been all over the place. Work's been stressful. So I'm hopefully going to come into the beginning of next week, tomorrow, and be able to take it as a more like reset. Like this is, hey, this is what the new situation is, right? Going about it that way. On the bright side of all of this, throughout the week, I've been going through and I've thrown away a bunch of stuff that I probably either won't eat or shouldn't have, etc. But I've also gone through the extent of, hey, instead of eating this, let's eat this, get rid of this, and making use out of it, right? Instead of throwing it away and letting it expire. So I'm going through and just decluttering my pantry to where I've got the bare necessity items. And I've got the items that I know that I will use on repeat and then I'll use on my meal prep, and kind of keeping it, instead of having all these extra, we'll have rice cakes and all this other stuff that maybe not is bad on its own, right? But when for me and for you maybe, you might have like a really stressful or bad day, or the hunger really hits you that day. You might want to eat, these rice cakes. I just eat the whole 12 or 14 of them, whatever. I think it's 14, 7. I think it's 7 per like slice, and there's like 2 of them, right? So instead of it being, hey, we're going to do 5 rice cakes, it ends up being 14 rice cakes. So instead of having that, and you can argue differently that maybe that is a self-control thing. Yes and no. Yes, it's self-control, but then in my argument is, my end goal is the cutting weight. Why make the temptations and all harder, especially after working out, doing my cardio and everything else on top of a calorie deficit and trying to build stuff and doing videos every day. I think the idea of that, having those extra temptations there and you challenging your self-control, becomes a problem. Like it's a losing battle at a certain point. Like if I just had sugar here, I think most people, if they just had snacks around their house, right, they're going to end up snacking. They're going to have a bad day. They're going to snack. They're not going to think of it. They're like, it's 40 calories. Okay, you do that every day. Now you just added in hundreds of calories for your week, right? Like these things do add up. And I think it's like an okay precaution to go on. So overall, some yapping. But that is some talks in the weekly recap for this week. Let me know how your week has gone. I'd love to hear it. But otherwise, catch you later.